My name is Magda Hilf. Excuse me. I was born in Czechoslovakia in a small town by the name of Malikeves. My father's name was Eugene Schöll. I had an older sister and a younger brother. My sister was married, I was still a child. My father was a butcher, a kosher butcher. He had a butcher store. He also had a small farm. And in addition, he rented about 100 acres of land. He had a house with a garden. About 10 Jewish families lived in this small farming community. We lived alongside our Christian neighbors, and we were on very good terms with them. In order for you to understand my story, I have to speak to you a few minutes about the Hungarian occupation of Slovakia. When Hitler came to power, the Hungarian leadership became a good friend and ally to Hilf. To repay his debt, Hitler gave a big chunk of Slovakia to Hungary. The Hungarian occupation was bad news for us Jews. Hungary had an anti-Semitic government. They introduced the so-called Jewish laws. The Jewish laws were designed to take away the livelihood from the Jews. Soon after the Hungarians came in, they took away the businesses from the Jews. It meant that my father had to close his butcher shop. He also had to give up the rented farm. However, as I mentioned that we lived on a farming community, we had a few acres of old land, we had a house with a garden, and by working very hard, my young brother and I, both young teenagers, we worked very hard, we helped our parents, we managed to survive, we managed to make ends meet. In 1941, the German army occupied Russia. War broke out. When the Hungarian leadership saw what happening, the Hungarian soldiers were fighting alongside the German army. The Jewish young men were thrown out from the military according to those Jewish laws. And these young men were put into labor battalions, and these battalions were sent out to the frontiers and were very dangerous work to do, clearing minefields, and very, very few survived from these Jewish young men, from the military. About 2 years later, the tide turned. Germany began to lose the war. When the Hungarian leadership saw what was happening, that Germany is losing the war, they wanted to get out of the war, but it was too late. On March 19, 1944, the German army occupied Hungary. Then we Jews knew that we are in great danger. The Germans were our mortal enemies. Soon after the Germans came in, we had to wear a yellow Star of David on our clothes. We were not allowed to leave the village. We became virtual prisoners. About 4 weeks later, we were notified by the authorities that we are going to be taken to a ghetto. The Hungarian gendarmes came to our homes and told us what we are allowed to take, some food, some clothes, some bedding. But before I go any further, I want to point 2 things out to you. One is that the Christian population in the village, they were very, very upset, very sad about the situation. They were forbidden to go to the Jewish homes, but they came anyway in droves to say goodbye to us. And another thing what I want to mention about these Hungarian gendarmes, they wholeheartedly collaborated with the German occupiers. They did all the dirty work for them. Without their collaboration with this handful of German army would not have been able what they actually did to these hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews. Going back to a situation, in the middle of April, just about the anniversary right now, in the middle of April we were rounded up by the gendarmes and taken first to their headquarters. When we were at the headquarters, we had to give up our jewelry or valuables. We were body searched, and then we are not hiding anything. And after that, we were put on horse-drawn carts and taken to the closest city where a few city blocks were converted to a ghetto. Several thousand people were taken from the whole area to this ghetto. It was terribly overcrowded. We were put into Jewish homes, several families in the house. It was very overcrowded. In a very short time, our little food started to run out. But we did not stay in this ghetto, not unlike in Poland or other countries. We just stayed in this ghetto for 2 months. But they did not have too much to play around because the war was coming to an end, so they wanted to finish up the Jews. So we stayed there for about 2 months. The gendarmes started to take out the Jews in 4 transports from the ghetto. My family's turn came in the third transport. We were taken to the railway station, brought to the railway station. There the cattle cars waited for us. 75 to 80 people were crammed into a car. We got a pail of water, another pail for toilet purposes. We were crammed into the car. It was terribly overcrowded. Children were crying, older people were sick in the overcrowded cattle car. We went in this car for about 2 days and 2 nights. After 2 days, 2 nights, we arrived to our destination. The train stopped, the cars were open, it was the middle of the night, we were tired and sleeping a little bit, dazed. We heard German orders, out, fast, leave everything behind. So we got out from the car as fast as we could. Outside, we saw a lot of SS men. And men in strange-looking striped pajamas on heads, a lot of dogs. We did not know where we are. It was standing in the middle of the night, tired, scared. We don't know where we are. As soon as a lot of dogs. As we were on the platform, as we were on the platform, so we were standing together, my family, my grandfather, 85-year-old grandfather, my parents, my 18-year-old brother, we were standing together, and right away, a young, elegant SS man, very elegant, very good-looking. I later learned that this elegant SS man was Dr. Magda. At that time I did not know nothing. We were lined up, and Magda was separating us. How did the separation go? Young men and young women was one side. Older men and older women went to the other side. Mothers with children up till teenage, something like that, 12 years old, went with the older people. We had no idea what's going on. In a few minutes time, my father and grandfather and my brother were gone. They were taken away. I was standing there with my mother. When I was separated from my mother, I got panicky. You see, my mother was an invalid. She had an artificial leg. I always promised myself, I am not going to be separated from her because I thought we are going to work somewhere, you know. What did I know? We are going to work, and she needed me. She was a helpless woman. She had only one leg, an artificial leg. So I met in these striped pajamas, a Polish, must have been a Polish guy. He was guarding us. I ran back. I could speak a little bit German. I ran back to him, and I started to beg him, please, let me stay with my mother. You can see that she's an invalid. She needs me. I have to stay with her. Oh, he screamed at me, you go where you were sent. But I did not give up so easily. I ran back 2 or 3 times to my mother, begging the guard, please, crying, please let me stay with my mother. I want to stay with my mother. The third time he got fed up with me, but he was busy. There were other people there. He gave me a push. I fell on my backward. I fell down. I got scared. So I told you, you go where you were sent. And you will see your mother later, we will take her with a truck. You go there. So then I saw that I can't win this situation. So I got up, I looked back at my mother, and she looked back at me. This was the last time I saw her. So I went to the young people, the young girls, women, where I belonged. We were taken to a large building. In the building, first we had to sleep. This was number one. There were SS women and young Slovak Jewish girls in this building. When we slept, the Jewish girls shaved off her hair, number one. After that, there was a big pile of dresses, rocks, rather rocks that were on the floor. Each of us got a rock. We had to put it on. You know, a tall woman got a short dress, a short woman got a long dress. You know, we were a beautiful sight. And after that, we were taken to a barrack by an SS woman. We were taken to a barrack. Several hundred women, I don't know how many, several hundred women were crammed into this barrack. In the barrack, there were 3-tier box. There was a Slovak Jewish girl, a young Jewish girl, introduced herself that her name is Sarah, and she's going to be a supervisor, broadcaster. She told us to sit on the barrack, go up to the barrack and sit down. We sat on the barrack. So Sarah gave us a nice little welcoming speech. She said, girls, you are in Auschwitz. We had no idea where we are. You are in Auschwitz. This is a death camp. Your parents, and if you had sisters with children, they went out the chimney. This is the way she showed them, out the chimney. They are no more. They were already hard and poor things, you know, they were a couple of years in the concentration camp. They are gone, and there is not much chance for you to get out in any way but through the chimney from Auschwitz. So you can imagine there were a few hundred women, and you get a little bit a speech like that, unexpectedly. So pandemonium broke out, crying, screaming, yelling, no, 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 you are lying, this is impossible. I told you this is the truth. Get used to it, this is the truth, and you better have some strength, sleep, some rest, because you will be in Auschwitz. We fell into an exhausted sleep. Early in the morning, early, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, we were taken out by Sarah to the side of the barrack, and the famous sail-up bell started. This sail-up bell went on all the time till I was in the camp. This was a head count. The SS woman came. They made a head count, and this head count went on hours and hours. We were standing there, and they were counting us, and if we did not come out right, they started again and again. People collapsed, you know, from hunger and from fright. Finally, this first day, it was over, and we had a chance to look around where we are. What is this place called Auschwitz? We never heard about it. Each row of barrack was surrounded by barbed wire, electric wire. There was a watchtower with SS gas in it, a stench of burning fresh burley than the nose. Very good. The whole area was covered with smoke. I will tell you what the food was in Auschwitz. For breakfast we got a brown water, it was called coffee. I don't think there's this mother ever saw coffee, but it was called coffee. This was the breakfast. The lunch was a false-smelling dirty soup, false. And in the supper, this was the highlight of the day. We got a piece of bread with a tiny bit of margarine or a tiny bit of jam, and so once in a while a boiled potato. This was already a holiday. So this was I don't know how many calories were in this daily food. All I can tell you, that in a very, very short time, in a very few days, we did not look like human beings anymore. I don't know how people can go down so fast. We did be a young, strong woman. We did not look like human beings. We were skeletons, dirty, full of lice, terrible. And then we became so weak and so terrible looking, started the selection. How did the selection go? I went through a few of them, I can tell you. We were taken by a man to a large field. An SS doctor arrived. He had a stick in his hand. First we had to strip, number one. The doctor examined us like so many animals, and then he hit behind our knee with a stick, probably because when our legs are still strong enough to carry us, and if the doctor found somebody was not strong enough, was thrown to the side, taken away, never to be seen again. There were horrifying scenes in this selection when two sisters were separated, so begging, crying, please, please, begging to the doctor. Nothing happened, nothing happened. After these selections, we went back to the camp. Whoever went back, who still was alive, and we talked to each other. How is this possible? We are not living in the dark Africa, dark ages. This is the modern age in the middle of Europe, and done by the German, the most intelligent, cultured people in Europe. Impossible. Gas chamber, crematorium, impossible. But it was true. This was the truth. And this was the truth. One day we were sent from Sarah, the supervisor, to a building, and the Slovak Jewish girls gave us a number. After when I finished, if you are interested, you can see my number. A12743. It also meant, you know, that we are not people anymore, just a number. In the beginning of October, Sarah, the supervisor, told us that the Germans are looking for workers to work in a German factory. 200 people. So she told us we try to get into this group and get out in one piece from Auschwitz. So naturally we tried to get into the group, and as a matter of fact I was quite lucky because I got into the 200 group, and not only me, but there were about 4 or 5 other girls from the group, my friends. So these 200 girls were very shortly selected. And we were taken also with cattle car to Markleber, a small town, Markleber, close to Leipzig, very close to Leipzig, to a little camp. This was just a small concentration camp, about 6 barracks. And we already found there 500 Jewish. This was not a red camp, this was a war camp, and strictly for Hungarian Jewish women. This camp. We already found there 500 women working for a Junkers airplane parts factory. So when we arrived, our commandant was an SS officer, and the guards were SS women, cruel SS women. They were worse than the men. When we arrived, the commandant gave us an inspection. He looked us over. He says, never in my life I saw such a filthy, dirty pigs like you are. So he was right, but he forgot that we had the same dress for 4 months already, never was washed. So how could it be other ways? So he right away sent us with an SS woman to have a shower. We had a shower, and each of us got a dark gray overall, and it was a red cross painted on the jacket for identification that who we are. A few days later, yes, the food was basically the same like in Auschwitz, you know, the breakfast for breakfast, and the soup, bowl of soup. The soup was cleaner and better than in Auschwitz, and a piece of bread. This was their food. In the food is that you would be interested why I have talked so much about the food. The food is very important. If you don't have food, you die. Us it was that, you know, so it was very important. So this was the food what we got in the Markleber. A few days later we were taken to the factory. It was a very, very beautiful modern factory with machines. As I said, they were manufacturing engines, airplane engines. We were trained by Christian men who were taken out from all the places where the Nazis occupied. They took out the men for war. So they were Belgian, Holland, French, some Italian, all kinds of Polish, lot of young men. My foreman was a Holland man. They were very, very nice to us, very, very, very to us, because they were almost in the same shoes, but different for the Christian people, but a little bit so terrible like the Jews. Anyway, we were working there 12 hours daily, 1 week day, 1 week night, 12 hours. It would be much, much better than Auschwitz, naturally, because we were working, we were needed. The trouble was that the food was not enough. We were starving, standing on the food 12 days, 12 hours in this little food. We were dying from hunger, we were very, very hungry. Some lucky girls worked in the kitchen, they were real lucky, about 5, 6 girls, because they had access to food. So these girls, they tried to help all their friends, their relatives, by giving them a potato, or a carrot, or an onion, and I tell you, this was worth like diamond or anything else, this little food. But I was unfortunate, I did not have any friend in the kitchen, so nobody gave me anything. I had nothing. Now I want to say a few words about an SS woman, or dear SS woman. You know, there's some who got wind of it that the girls are getting some extra food. And nobody was allowed to have not a mouthful of extra food, just was given to us. So the girls got an onion or a carrot, so when they went back at night to their camp, so they had with them this extra food. The SS women got wind of it, they made body searches, and if they found a little food, this girl got a beating that she remembered the rest of her life. Such a beating. But as I say, nobody gave me anything because I had no friend in the kitchen, so I had nothing to feed. But somebody gave me a teaspoonful of salt. So you might ask, why did I need a salt? Do I do any cooking? And you know, I was 22 years old, and I have a very bad memory even then. I forgot who gave me this little salt. I put it in a little rock, and I hid it in my overall pants, because even in this little salt was something. At night when I got the bread, I put the salt on the bread, tasted even better. But I forgot that salt. One night in the middle of winter, by the way, they have a climate very close to the Canadian climate, very, very cold climate. And we had this thin overall, no shoes, but wooden clocks and no sacks. And we went back at night, and there was one SS woman, and we nicknamed her Lucifer. There was a reason for it. First of all, she was terribly ugly. Secondly, she was terribly bad, real Lucifer, inside and outside. So Lucifer decided one dark night to make a body search on little me. No, I have nothing, you know, I proudly presented myself, nothing. I forgot about this little salt. Lucifer found the salt. I tell you, a teaspoonful of salt. This woman gave me a beating. I thought that my last day arrived. Such a beating. And I don't know what came over me. Such a hatred, such a rage. I just looked into her ugly eyes. I said, why this? Did not cry out, did not cry for mercy. I just looked at her, said, why this ugly German woman is hitting? What does she think she is? And everything came back to me, my poor parents and my poor sister, and they are all dead. Yeah, I lost them. And I just did not care how she was hitting me. I just looked at her full with hate, you know, and did not cry out. So it made her very, very more ugly than ever. And she put me out to the court. I was standing on the court from 6 o'clock at night till 12 o'clock in this thin overall and no socks and the wooden clock. My friends were afraid to go to sleep. They were afraid that I will freeze to death. But I did not. I did. I was meant to live. I was meant to tell you this story. So anyway, I survived this beating. After that episode, started the big bombardments. More and more, we had to stop our working. We could not work because of the bombardments. We were taken downstairs, and we could not work. But we were not afraid. We did not care. You know, other people were afraid. No, let they come. Thank God they are coming. They are finally coming. And the war is coming to an end. We had no illusion that we are going to survive this. We are thinking that in the end they are going to kill us all, because we figured they don't need any witnesses to these atrocities what they did to us. So we did not have any illusions, but we are so happy that the war is coming to an end, and to be quite honest also, that though the Germans will try to their own medicine, they will try what they did to us, then they try a little bit. So this went on day after day, week after week. It was already April 30th. I never forget this date, as long as I live. April 30th on a Friday. We were taken back to the camp, not at evening at 6 o'clock, but in the middle of the afternoon, and came all the leaders of the factory, they came out and they told us that girls, the American, the Allied troops are in Leipzig. The Leipzig was 4 kilometers from us, what is nothing, like almost like downtown, even less. The Allied troops are 4 kilometers. You are going to be liberated. So you can imagine, by this time, let me not forget, there were 1,400 people by this time there were in this camp. Slowly and slowly, we always brought in more and more people. There were even 250 French Christian people. They were in the underground and they were caught, so they were sent to Leipzig, to Magda. So there were 1,400 people. So you can imagine when they told us that they are going to be liberated, pandemonium, screaming, yelling, dancing, yeah. Emotion was unbelievable, unbelievable. We survived, we are going to be liberated, was unbelievable. Happiness, the whole happiness lasted 5 minutes. The commandant was coming to the office, came out, I got orders, I had to evacuate you. So there was complete panic. The same Friday night, we were taken away. They didn't even give us nothing, just in this steel overall on a death march. I tell you something, what you heard is terrible, but the death march was even more horrific, what we went through. We were walking day and night, the commandant came, the men from the tower came, we were surrounded by dogs, chased by dogs. No food or shelter was provided for us anymore, nothing. It was walking day and night. People who could not walk anymore with their shoes, they had to sit down, they were shot. So we were walking like that for a good few days, and we figured we were dying anyway on the road. We have to try something. We have to try to save ourselves. So the girls, all girls, we were in one row. Girls, we tried to run away, to hide, to escape, but the dogs always chased us back. One dark night, one very dark night, we managed to run into a German yard. The group went by, we girls managed to stay there. It was very cold, we were sitting there, shivering the whole night. Early in the morning, we went to a little town. We went to the town. Luckily, not many men were around because the men were on the frontiers, just women. And the woman, we introduced ourselves that we are Hungarian women. We definitely did not say that we are Jewish, We are Hungarian workers and we are terribly hungry. And most of the women threw us something. They did not let us in the house. They just threw us something through the window, a little food. And some of them said, you get lost, we have no food, get lost, go away. But they were not too bad because they did not call the police. So we were walking like this for 2-3 days and begging, like ordinary beggars. And the third day, our luck ran out. We met up on an SS guard. Met the SS guard, oh, Jews, what are you doing here? You follow me. So we figured, goodbye, we said goodbye to each other. This is the end, finish, nothing to talk about. This is the end. We followed the guy. He said, you follow me. The young buck, must have been about old age, 20, 22 years old. We followed the guys, and know what I am telling you, I consider this a miracle. I even talked to a rabbi about it, and he said also that's a miracle. When we went toward the forest with this guy, with this SS man, we reached the forest. At the same minute, the other SS men arrived on a motorbike. got off. He was a friend of old Mess's guy. Oh, they started to say, how are you? What are you doing? So he says, I just came to shoot on the Jews. Not a big thing. Probably was not the first time that he did it. So the guy, the friend says to him, oh, come on, you shot enough Jews already. Let's go into the city and have a good time. Let them alone. So anyway, when I have the ISKCON, I always think about this SS man. I don't know his name, but surely he saved our life. This other SS man. So this one, let's go have a good time. You shut them up, Jews. And they left. They jumped from the motorbike. They left their 70 people. I consider this a miracle. So anyway, we went into the forest, a little forest. We stayed there 5 days and 5 nights. We were so scared. And there was God provided us, there was a freshly painted, freshly planted potato field. We took out the potato at night, we ate the potatoes. We were there 5 days and 5 nights. After we said we have to go away because people would see us from the road and somebody will call the police or the SS or something. We had to get out from here. We went out of the yard on the highway. I never in my life will forget this, what I saw. Thousands upon thousands of Christian men. They were also chased by the SS men, just like the Jews. The only difference, thousands of them, all kinds, Russian, French, Italian, Belgian, Holland, whatever, all kinds of, wherever they took out their men for war, so they were chasing these two, but the only difference was, for these men they gave a little food, and also they let them go into buildings to sleep. They were treated better than us Jews. And the 4 girls, we saw this man, we figured they are not much safer after the Jewish, that we will be safer if we would go in this big group like hello, the 4 girls, people would be on their own 4 girls, it's dangerous. So we say to the guys that can we go with you, can we walk with you, so you can come with us. They were again very, very nice to us, these Christian people. And we shared their food with us. We went into a building to sleep with them. So they were very, very nice to us, really very nice. And we walked like this for another few days. We thought it's going to be never end, and probably that's what you are thinking also. But it's going to be finished in a few minutes. And we reached a little town by the name of Michelsdorf, small town. We went at night, we went in a building to lie down. In the morning, we noticed that there are no SS men around. SS men disappeared. We looked out the window, and the Russian soldiers were walking on the street. So we knew that we are liberated, and this is the end of my story. It was May the 9th, 1945.
We have time for a couple of questions. If anyone has anything they'd like to ask, Aaron.
Could you please speak about a bit how you came to Canada?
Speak about how you came to Canada.
Oh, I came to Canada. I went back to, that time it was Czechoslovakia already, the parents left, and I got married to my husband, who was a widower. He lost his wife and a 6-year-old child. We got married, and in 1953 we came to Canada.
Morel?
When you were in Canada, what was your profession? What was your job?
Did you work in Canada?
Naturally,
What did you do?
What did I do? For 3.5 years, I worked in a pens factory, and after that, I spoke a little English, so I got into the Robert Simpson company. They are not exist anymore. It's a very elegant store. He teach me to be a filing clerk. So I was a filing clerk, a very proud filing clerk. So I was a filing clerk, and both their 5 years have my parent, my husband, and my husband was a tool and die maker. He was a hard-working man, and he worked hard, and finally he picked up his own factory. We were very well known. It was still not so. I go soon, I do. Otherwise you don't go anywhere.
How many years were you in concentration? For how long?
Yeah. It was less than a year that you were, from the time that you were deported to liberated, how long was it?
1 year, 13 months. I didn't take an 8 years and I came back. So I came back by the time I came back, it was June the 1st.
David?
You spoke the whole time about how you were with friends that you went along until then. Do you know what happened to them at the end? Where
Some of the friends who were in the camps with you, did you keep in touch afterwards with those who
One
survived?
lives here.
Oh,
One
yeah.
lives here, and White Seat, Mrs. Bennington. I don't know, somebody might have known Bennington. That died.
His
His
wife.
wife. His wife. His wife, my lifelong friend. We were not day one. She was my lager sister. From day one.
Ezra?
We were wondering if you had any like Jewish background coming from Hungary, if you like later.
Did you go to a Jewish school in Czechoslovakia?
No, they did not have in the small place, they did not have a Jewish school, but they brought all their teachers to the village, and the teachers teach mostly the boys. The girls were the second cousin. They did a little bit, but not like him. But we did the holidays. In my family, it was Orthodox. My mother was a Orthodox. It was not open with modern something that shaped modern everybody was kept to everything. But I am
I have a question. So, when you started speaking, was there something that made you start to speak? Was there an impetus for
I
it?
tell you something, I start speaking like when they take all the fish and throw it outside. My husband died unfortunately 22 weeks ago, and I was very lonely and did not know what to do with myself. So I went to the Holocaust Center to help out. But I said, I can't speak for heaven. I am not speaking. One day, one morning, came the school bus, and the woman did not show up. She was sick or something. So the woman, who was working there, was a Benina, an Israeli woman. She says, no, you are going to speak. I said, I can, you must. So I started to speak, and that's why I could speak. So this is about 22 years. So 22 years, no, 1 week, 10 years, 1995. I started to speak, and nothing, first I didn't know what I'm afraid, I don't want, but I saw that I can do it. They like me, and ask me questions, many
Is there a message that you can give for all of us here today, for the boys in the school? A personal message, something that you...
one thing you want them to take away today, one message from you.
one message. I can see that you are a very, very lovely group of boys, and there is not much that I can teach you, to be quite honest. The thing is, unfortunately, there is a lot of anti-Semitism again in the whole world. All I can tell you, but I don't even have to tell you, that we have to be thankful to live in a country like Canada, a very good country. And you saw grandchildren, the 3 grandsons are all surgeons, both study and do something, and I'm sure you will do it with your
On that note, if anyone wants to come up and ask a question at this point, that's fine. It's an AM assembly schedule, so at some point a bell will ring, and that'll be fourth period. Until then, you can stretch a little bit. And if there is a question, ask a question.